Welcome to another episode of Trust the Process with Martin Bugai, the podcast that celebrates incredible health and fitness transformations. I am your host, Martin Bugai, and today we have a truly inspiring guest, JJ, a London-based lawyer who faced an uphill battle in his fitness journey. For years, he threw himself into weight training, CrossFit, and various different diets, yet nothing seemed to yield the results he was after. Feeling defeated and self-conscious, JJ even found himself wearing shirts on the beach on holidays and blaming his genetics for not being able to get the results he wanted. But everything changed when a mutual friend of ours recommended our online coaching program. With his wedding day approaching, JJ set a big, bold goal to get in the best shape of his life. Over just 4.5 months on our online coaching program, he achieved a staggering 30-pound fat loss and sculpted a physique he now proudly showcases. In this episode, we'll dive deep into JJ's journey, exploring the challenges he faced, the breakthroughs he experienced, and how he managed to balance a demanding career with his fitness goals. So let's jump right in and listen to JJ's story. JJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
How are you, buddy?
I'm very well, thanks.
Awesome.
Feeling better than ever.
Amazing. That's good. Take me all the way to the beginning. So about 4.5 months ago, it was March 11th, I think.
It was March,
that you started. So you heard about the program, about me, from a mutual friend, Jamie. Shout out to Jamie. Take me all the way to the beginning. Why did you want to sign up? What was the motivation?
Yeah, so I was always thinking of getting into shape for my wedding, which is my main motivation, right? So I'm getting married in August, and I thought 2024 was going to be my year. I'm going to start out the year strong. And I thought in my head, I probably need maybe 12 weeks to transform a little bit into wedding shape. And then I started doing, my usual classes, starting eating healthy, but I just found I wasn't really pushing the dial as much as I thought I could have.
Yeah.
And then going to one class with Jamie, and he mentioned, I have this guy who's perfect. He's a magician. He will sort you out. And I was like, okay, let me check it out. And that's when this whole thing started. So I really was in the frame of mind, like I wanted to make a change for myself. I wanted to look the best for my wedding. I wanted to see results that, I've been lifting for a long time. I've been going to the gym since I was like a teenager, but nothing has ever changed, right? I feel like I look bigger sometimes, but then once I take my top off, I'm like, oh, I'm not big, and I didn't know how to push that. So I needed to get an expert, and that's when you guys came in, which has been a life changer for me.
Fantastic. So what exactly have you tried prior to this, and how long did it take you, or how long have you been trying?
So I've been doing CrossFit for a good 2 and a bit years.
Okay.
And at the beginning, I thought, look, this is a great element of strength, which I really like. And then there's the big WOD program at the end of each session, which really makes me sweat it out. And that was working, I was like I was getting fitter, feeling fitter, losing a bit of weight. But again, I plateau quite often and think, I don't know what else to do. And then I went to do a personal training course for 3 weeks with this guy. And I thought, this is crazy. Like, I already know what he's doing. Like, I don't need someone to tell me to lift my weights for me and say, do 2 more. Like, I have the discipline in my head to go to the gym. So why am I paying this guy 150 pounds a session for 45 minutes to tell me something he could have just written this down and then sent it to me, And then nutrition-wise, it wasn't really working out that well. I was like following it, but I didn't really know why I was following it or like what the benefits were of following it and how to follow it, more importantly. I didn't know how do I hit that protein goal or how do I keep my fats down? So I had no idea how to do that. And I found that was way too expensive for what he was bringing to me, what the results I was seeing. And then I went to Unit 1, which I go to quite frequently, which is a great session. It's a great team exercise workout format. But same thing, it's very focused on just keeping fit.
Yeah.
Without the extras of, all right, how do I get to the goal I wanted to get to?
Yes.
And so I've done a lot of things. I've done, followed the program myself. I've done CrossFit for a couple of years. I've done personal training, and none of them really have worked to this standard of where I am right now.
Okay, great. So what would you say was the biggest difference or the biggest change that this program has brought to your life?
I think it's really just the instruction, right? Like the guidance that you two give to me every week, that I know that, just trust the process. And at the beginning, I know you would have seen a lot of my messages being like, it's not working. Like, I'm still at this level. Like, what's happening? I'm eating healthy and working out all the time, but nothing's changing. And then all of a sudden, like a few weeks later, you see it drop and they go, oh, wow, like we're here. So it's really having that guidance that, someone is out looking out for you at all times and will take you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And it's not like, when you go to PT sometimes, I feel they're just there to make you your 150 quid for each session, right? They don't really care about your long-term benefits, your long-term goals. It's really just, okay, how much do you weigh this week? Awesome, we did so well. But for this, you're really looking out for me in every step of the way. And I found that really helpful.
Great. Well, I think there's so much there to kind of dig into, but yeah, I think you're right. With personal training, it's great. And it's funny because, I speak to so many guys and they always kind of say, oh, well, maybe before I commit to this, I'll try in-person personal training. And, I've been doing this since 2007 and I've been for many, many, many years on a gym floor doing one-to-one PT. And the difference is a lot of the time that, one-to-one personal training is, yes, you see your clients in person 2 to 3 times a week. But really, to be fair, outside of that one person with a client, there isn't necessarily that much that is happening outside of those hours that you're with clients. So I totally see your point. It's okay, you may get a nutritional plan or something like that, but I feel like really the accountability is where it's all kind of where you get all the value with a program like this, right?
Yeah.
So from a nutritional perspective, what did you follow before? Because you tried different things, right?
I didn't really know much about nutrition, to be honest. And that was one of my main things coming into this year, to be like, okay, I need to find either a nutritionist to tell me what to do. Because, I just eat healthy as the way they tell you to eat healthy, You eat your salads, you don't have too much like crisps on the weekend and like don't drink too much beers and all that stuff. But that wasn't, again, that wasn't really working for me because I think I like the education of how do you actually do nutrition.
Yeah.
And that education was what you gave me. I remember the beginning sitting down with you two talking about like how do you hit these like targets nutritionally, what do you eat, what do you not eat, and if it fits with the macros, then perfect. So I don't feel like I've actually like not eaten what I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Because you learn how to plan your meals in the way that if I wanted to have maybe a tiny bit of ice cream for dessert, I'm going to make room during my day to make sure I can have that and still fit my macros.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like learning that, you don't have to deprive yourself was a really important learning for me.
Yeah. I think it is for so many people. And I'm a big proponent of, like I use this term fairly loosely, flexible dieting. It's, yes, it is kind of if it fit your macros, but we are also very much educating clients on the right healthy choices because it's not just about eating whatever fits. And yes, you can achieve the result, but really the goal of the program is to educate clients and make it sustainable and make them understand the choices, the good and bad and swaps and things like that. That's really where it all comes down to. So you are down 30 pounds from March 11th this year, so about 4.5 weeks. Would you say that you got the results that you were hoping for?
And more.
And more.
And
what did you expect?
I remember when I spoke to you the first time, I was about 90 kilos and you said, how far do you think you can go? And I said, personally, maybe even without anyone helping me, I'll probably go down to about 87, 86. That's probably a good level for me for my wedding. But I never thought I'd be down to this morning 70, 75 kilos, right?
Yeah.
Like I never thought that was like my high school weight. And that was a long time ago. So I never thought I would be at this level. But like when I was this weight previously, when I was younger, I didn't look like this, right? Like I was just a skinny guy. And even back then, you probably thought that was like, you're quite heavy at that point. So yeah, my initial expectations were I would probably go down to like mid 80s, low 80s, and then feel good and fit into a nice suit and everything. But I never thought I'd look in the mirror in the morning and be like, look pretty good today.
Yeah.
And have the confidence to,
Yeah.
you know, be out like at a Greek island with my top off and think I'm really confident that I look great.
So would you say you are in the best shape of your life so far?
Absolutely. I think I've learned so much from this program that I don't want to waste it. I'm now down at 75, and I want to now look even better by building the muscle up from this new base level that I have. And yeah, so it's been a life-changing experience for me. Best shape of my life, and I'm going to look the best at my wedding. And that was my goal, and I'm almost there.
I'm so happy because, you know, I remember that was obviously the biggest goal to be in the best shape of your life for your wedding day, because, you know, you hopefully get married once and, you know, and you want to look the best. So yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on, because when you said about the expectations, you know, I always try to kind of feel people out a little bit in terms of like where do you think you are going to get to in terms of weight? You know, it's not necessarily about the weight, but I'm just trying to gauge their expectations. And like you said, in your case, it was, you know, 3, maybe 5 pounds and I'll be in a good shape. And that just clearly shows you that a lot of guys really underestimate massively how much fat they've got to lose, and way overestimate how much muscle they actually have. Right. Now, having said that, in your case, you had a really, really good base from a muscular standpoint, because you obviously had a lot of experience lifting weights, you've done CrossFit, you've got, you know, bodybuilding stuff, style workouts, all of that stuff. So you actually had a really good base. And to your point, getting down to what, 75, 76 right now, you still keeping that size really well. That's obviously down to what you had prior to starting the program, underneath all that body fat that we needed to lose, but also the fact that now your workouts are structured. You follow a routine. You work towards a certain goal and things like that. Whereas before it was a little bit sort of haphazard. You would go to classes, you'd do something to get, you'd be getting fitter. So that's how you would gauge your results. But it was kind of, okay, I kind of got my sweat for the day.
It became like, okay, I've been to the gym 3 times this week. Yeah. Tick. That was it. So I deserve my nice big dinner tonight, and going out with my friends on Friday and drinking quite a few beers, you know, like it felt like it's a calorie neutral week. Yes. But you're right. Like we underestimate how much we think we need to lose. And looking at the photos, my first ever photo to where I am now, I'm like, I knew I was big, but I didn't know I was that big. Yeah. Right? Like, and I actually, to be honest with you, when I first started, I felt I was strong. I was like, I probably don't need to lose much because I'm already quite big. Like, and I think, you know, I feel strong. I can lift heavy. I can go for a nice workout and like be really strong about it. But I never really thought that stuff all disappears when you just follow the program. Yeah. Right? So it was a big, big change.
And keeping the strength. How did you find the strength training? Do you feel like you have progressed in the strength department and everything?
Yeah. And of course, like I was using our apartment gym, which was limited with like the weights and stuff. But your program managed to work that out for me and still fit within whatever I had, right? Yeah. Like I didn't have a squat rack or a bench press machine to use, but we found a way to like get everything done. And I feel stronger every week, you know? And I think a lot of the times when people lose this much weight, they look so skinny that you kind of look unwell. Yes. Whereas for me, I was like, am I also gaining muscle as I like doing this? Because I feel like I met some guys the first time last week on my friend's stag, and they were like, they don't know me, and they were like, bro, why are you so jacked? And I was like, no one's ever said that to me. Especially a stranger. Right? Like if it's a friend, it'd be fine. But I was like, And that's like, I think because of my base muscle, as you mentioned, that's come out now that I've like lost the fat that I had to lose.
Yeah.
And it's made me look even better than I thought I would ever look.
No, absolutely. And, you know, seeing you today in a nicely fit shirt, yeah, you do look jacked. And, you know, the thing is that, to your point, what you mentioned just a second ago, a lot of guys, yes, they maybe start a diet or some form of a challenge or something like that to lose weight. But that's the difference. The focus goes on losing weight.
Yeah.
And usually in a lot of those cases, these guys go 0 to 100 in the first month. They shift a lot of body weight, but it's usually that comes down in the form of glycogen, water, and usually muscle mass, because they don't adjust the nutrition properly. The training is not adjusted. The focus go massively into a lot of cardio. So they, you know, what do most people know? They just go for a run.
Yeah.
They go for a run. They start eating salads.
Yeah.
They deprive themselves. They usually drop out complete group foods. I'm not eating bread. I'm not eating, you know, pasta, rice. So they usually remove a lot of carbs, which your body needs. If you want to build a solid physique and maintain the muscle mass and drop body fat, carbohydrates are massively important. The reason you need them is because they are your primary source of energy. You go to the gym, you need to have your carbohydrates in order to continuously progress, build muscle, etc. So when we talk about changing body composition, protein goal is very important. Carbohydrates are extremely important, and fats are also extremely important, but everything needs to be adjusted to the right level, to the person and to the goal that they are trying to achieve.
Yeah. And this goes back to your point about, you know, you need to have the education to know this. And I've done those diets, those fad diets, like fast every day, like eat within a certain window, eat salads, but I never heard of focus on protein. I never heard of this is how much protein you have to have every day. And those diets are great. You do lose a few pounds, but then they come straight back up and even more. Right. I've seen so much of my friends do this. Because they found some guy online on a YouTube video being like, it's time to be carnivore, like, and eat only carnivore. I'm like, first of all, greens are super healthy and they're good for you. Like, surely it can't be that good, right? And so it goes back to the education and learning how your body responds to stuff. And when you're being guided by people like you, and you see the results, then it becomes a change in lifestyle. Like, and a good example is at the wedding on the weekend, and at 3 a.m, the burgers came out, right? And old me would have been like, yes, like,
on it.
You know, I've had a few drinks, like, jump on those burgers. But I was like, no, I don't need it. Like, and I don't actually want to have it. And that's like, I think that's a change in me that I will carry on for the rest of my life. Because I now know the importance of it and like what it does to your body. And I haven't touched, you know, that kind of stuff. I used to love a bag of crisps on the weekend, just sitting down on the couch watching television. Haven't done that in like 5 months. And I was like, wow, like crazy. What can happen when you actually don't eat the bad stuff?
Absolutely. And again, to your point, I think education is so important. And also, the number one reason most people come to us is because they lack clarity around what is it actually that they want to achieve. So they kind of know that they want to lose weight, but they haven't got a very specific goal, which is something I really drill on at those strategy calls, because it's very important for both parties to really understand what is it that we're trying to achieve here. Because if you want to get jacked and run a marathon and, you know, do like too many things. So you need to focus on one goal and get to that goal, all means necessary, but also clarity and structure. Now, you've just said that you would be all over that, you know, wagon of burgers. I believe it's because now you have structure. You know that the nutritional goals that are designed for you at this stage, where you're at with your physique, with your body composition, etc., that's all your body needs. And knowing that is so powerful, because you are not then tempted to have a burger because you're hungry. If you've had your amount of protein for the day, your amount of carbohydrates, your amount of fats, the overall calories for that day, you know that you've given your body everything it needs and you don't have to think, oh, maybe I'll eat more protein or whatever. You don't need to, because you know exactly. It's like having a budget and sticking to it.
Yeah.
So in your case, and I'm going to get to your profession in a second, I feel like it really works very well for your brain or your personality, right? You are a lawyer. So you are very structured, very disciplined, very organized. I feel like that sort of approach works really well. Did you find that helped?
Yeah, I think it's a discipline that was really helpful. When, in my job where we have to get stuff done in a short time frame, you get it done, right? By hook or by crook. You have to pull the long hours just to get it done, because if you don't get it done, then you're in trouble, right? Like, then the client's not happy and you're not in a good place. I think the same with this. Like, it's the accountability of myself.
Yes.
Like, if I wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do cardio today, but look, I really have to. So my brain just tells me, just to go do it, you'll feel better after. And I think that's another reason why I didn't like the PT, because I didn't need someone to tell me, do this now, or do that one now. I needed myself to tell me myself, you should do it, because you can do it and you'll feel great for doing it.
Absolutely. Such a good point, because so many people feel like, so I always ask this question: what do you feel is like the thing that is stopping you from achieving that? Oh, motivation. And I'm like, motivation is like, if you are sitting on these calls, if you're sitting on the strategy call with me, motivation is not a problem. You motivated yourself. You know that you want to do something. You just don't know how. You don't know where to start. You haven't got the tools. So motivation is not a problem. So people saying, oh, I need a PT because it will kind of get me, I can book it in. No. Like, if that's what you're looking for, this is definitely not the right thing for you. And I would hugely rethink you going and investing in a PT, because that's definitely not going to help you.
Agreed.
It will, if anything, serve you as an excuse to then go out and eat whatever you want and not do the other things that you have to do, because, okay, and like I said, I've been there with clients over the years. They come to a session, they feel like, okay, I've done 3 PT sessions a week, now I can go and, have drinks, food, etc., because I've done my bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Like you said, to your point, discipline, finding that motivation and that sort of why, that reason why you want to achieve those goals, and then having the accountability from our side is what really gets you the results. Now, talking about your work, it's been extremely busy 4.5 months for you professionally. You've had business travel, all sorts of things. How did you find that being on the program? And how did you navigate?
I thought it was, initially I thought it was going to be really difficult. Like, we have a lot of client dinners, for all day meetings where you don't get to choose your food. It's already there. You have buffets, you have to take your clients out to drinks, and there are lots of professional things that just come with the role. And lots of travel where you get in planes, and again, you can't control the food in the plane. You go to a hotel room where in the US where there's a lot of fatty food on offer. But I think keeping myself accountable was like the main driver for me. And having you guys there to tell me at the end of the week, this is how we think you did, and this is how we think you can do better. And having you there beforehand to be like, let's schedule a call before you do a business trip and plan how to navigate that trip. That was super important for me, because I was able to go, okay, pack my snacks. Let's get my protein powder packed in so that every morning after the gym, I'm going to have my protein rather than do this, right? Get some biltong, like nice and good protein sources. Breakfast, get some hard-boiled eggs, have the egg whites. That thing that I would never have thought of personally without doing this. So I think it's been a busy time, but again, on business trips, I forced myself to wake up early, hit the gym, and then do my work, right? Like, I can't control my nights. My everyday is structured from 9 p.m. till however long I finish. I don't know what time I finish. Sometimes I finish at 7, 8 p.m., sometimes 3 in the morning. But the thing I can control is my mornings.
I love that.
And that's why I make sure my alarm's set at 6:30 in the morning every day, gym by 7. I've done my gym by 8:30, and I go to work. And whatever happens, whatever they throw me at work until whatever time they want me to, I've already done my workout,
Yeah.
and I'm just eating my way and fueling myself the way I need to fuel my body. And so work travel has been tough, and the expectation that you need to be drinking with the clients, but there are ways around it, right? And we've talked about this many times, like, yeah, you can have your one glass of wine, just sip it really slowly. Like, no one's going to know. Like, you're not at the party with their 16-year-old friends, like, pouring yourselves drinks. Like, I've done the trick as well of, like, drinking lots of sparkling water with some lime, right? Like, and again, no one knows what you're drinking.
Exactly. Especially after the initial few glasses
And it's
of wine.
none of their business either, right? So,
exactly.
And so one of the biggest points I've done actually is I've told people I'm on this journey, and I've told my friends that I'm doing this. These are my macros. These are my workouts. And to some extent, that's helped me because they also keep me accountable.
I love that.
They tell me, if another person goes, oh, come on, like, just have another beer. And then my friend will go, nah, he's on this, like, program and he wants to stay with it. So it's fine. Like, you don't need to have another beer if you don't want to. But it goes to the other point as well of some of your friends go, oh, come on, you can deserve a cheat day. You deserve a cheat day. And then the next day, another friend goes, you deserve a cheat day.
Yeah.
But they're not friends.
Yeah.
So they don't know that you've had 2 cheat days in a row. So it goes to the point of when I found that I talked about it more
I love it.
to my colleagues, my friends, my family, it became like a team effort of, right, let's do this together. And I accept you for who you are. And I applaud what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it. Right. So they're like, dude, you're doing so well and it's an inspiration to me that you can do it because that means we can all do it. And so I found that, being open about this program helped me stay accountable.
Yeah. That's incredible. It just shows you that your circle of friends is actually great.
Yeah.
So keep that, because we found with a lot of our clients that, and I don't know whether there's probably an element of people feeling uncomfortable with somebody else's journey because it kind of brings up a mirror to them and they feel like almost think less of themselves maybe in a way that they should be doing that but they're not, therefore they try to subconsciously a lot of the time derail somebody else's journey by saying those things. Oh, have another one, you deserve it, da 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 da. They don't know what you know. No. The more you share, the better. Absolutely, I agree. But also I think just listening to you right now, I feel like it comes down, a lot of the times, it comes down to having that inner discipline and having the confidence to actually say out loud, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need another drink to, have fun or whatever. And this is socially is such a big thing for a lot of people. It's like they sometimes give in because of the peer pressure. So having that confidence is a big thing. Yeah. It seems like you really have that.
And I think we live in a society full of instant gratification. Yeah. Everyone wants to be the next big thing without doing the hard work. Everyone wants to wish to have bought Bitcoin because they're now millionaires. Yeah. Everyone sees a really fit guy with good physique eating healthy, but they don't know what it took to get there. Yeah. And they don't want to do what it takes to get there. And so I think that's one thing that I've learned the most about this is, like, you've seen my successes, but you've not seen me struggle through it.
100%.
And yes, you can do it, but it takes a lot of sacrifice, discipline, and effort to get to where it is. And I believe everyone can do it. Yeah. It just takes, that switch in your head to be like, all right, it's time to do this. And you need to have a goal that is really, like, straight enough and clear enough before you attempt it.
100%. And what you are talking about, I feel, is that purpose and the why. For you, it was, so obviously we know that it was the wedding, but if we were to dig deeper, why did you want to get in the best shape of your life? Why did you want to get fit, healthy, etc.?
I think it comes with age as well.
Okay.
So I'm only 33, and right now in this world, we're really fortunate to see so many, like, health podcasts and these doctors saying, why wait until you have an illness to go to the doctor when you can build your body up right now to never have that illness? So we live in a really, it's a great time to be alive with all these resources in our hands. And I think, the Nike slogan, which they had before, which said, yesterday you said tomorrow, that struck a lot with me when, like, every day you think, oh, I'll do it next year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working out. I'm still working out 3 times a week. I'm eating healthy. My weight's going up and I can feel my pants are a bit tight, but I'll wait till there's an important reason for me to do it. But there shouldn't be a reason, right? You don't need to have gotten so ill that you decide I need to change my life. And I thought, I'm in my 30s, this is the best time to take a reset button, press the reset button, build my body up to be in a nice base level. And this just sets me up for the next few decades of my life. So beyond like my wedding, which was my short-term goal, like I've got my 6 months to get there.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going back to how I was, right? Like everyone seems to assume, oh, so you're going to like, get back on it once you finish your program. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, why would I waste the hard work, all the sweat I have sweat, just to go back to where I was? No chance.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Will I eat my favorite foods? Absolutely. Will I still work out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a short-term program for me. This is just my part of my life of keeping myself accountable and knowing that this is part of a long, healthy life.
Yeah. Would you say that the part of that decision or mindset shift has been because of how long you've been trying to get to that point?
Yeah.
And because, my next question was like, I want to talk about your mindset a little bit more and kind of where you got it from. But the fact that you've been trying for so long and you really couldn't get to where you wanted to be, there must be a buildup of frustration over the years, right?
I think I just didn't know what to do, right? Like there are times I'd work out 4 or 5 times a week, eat salads every day, but nothing would change. And I was like, why? Is it just my body type? Like, my initial concern was, is it, my ethnicity that maybe my certain body type doesn't, respond that well to this kind of workout. So there's a little bit of that, and I wasn't sure even at the beginning, right? I was like, nothing's working. Okay, it's just me. Yeah. It's definitely me. Yeah. But it wasn't.
Yeah. It's just giving it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I always say it's that initial time in the program is we as a team, we have absolutely no preference in those initial couple of weeks, discovery weeks as we call it. We have no preference whether the weight goes up, down. We are just gathering data. We're just seeing what's actually happening. If the weight is going up, okay, that gives us a feedback that we need to make adjustments. Yeah. If the weight stays the same, again, feedback. If it goes down, feedback. Perfect. So, we kind of observe, track, gather data, and then see from there what we need to do, rather than go like most people do, 0 to 100, all tools out of the box, and then don't know what's working, what's not working. So again, listening to you, it's incredible because your mindset is really solid. It's very strong. Where do you have that work ethic from? Where is that mindset? How come?
I think growing up, I've always wanted to do the best at everything I could do.
Okay.
Right. I was brought up in the Philippines, and my parents being, your typical Asian parents were like, do well in school, do well in sport, do well in music. And so I always tried to be the best at everything I could do. And I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today in both professionally and, in life without that mindset. And so when I have a goal and I want something, I do everything I can to get there. So I think it's just really built in my head that, to achieve greatness, you have to do the hard work. There is no shortcut to success. And some people think that there is. And I think that's one thing I know in my head, that if I have a goal, either professionally, personally, or whatnot, there are steps to get there. And the trick is to break that goal down into smaller goals. It's just like climbing a mountain, right? Like people see the top of the mountain, they go, I can't do that, it's too high. But if you set yourself a goal of 2 kilometers, easy. And do another 2 kilometers, and then you'll find your way sooner rather than later, you're actually on the top.
Yeah.
And that's how my brain works. I really break it down into like, this is my top goal. How do I get there in small bits? How do I get there in the least painful way possible?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an element of sacrifice, pain, and like, and like all these hardships through the way. But if you break it down enough in a way that you understand your goal each step of the way, then it's achievable.
Yeah.
And that's the only way it becomes achievable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Beautiful and very interesting. So, doing it in the most efficient and least painful, I think you said, way. So was the body transformation kind of the moment where you decided to invest in yourself and in the program? Was that the sort of mindset? Let's try to do it with somebody else's help who can get me there in a shorter space of time in the most efficient and healthy way.
I always believe in hiring experts when you don't know what you're doing, right? Like in the same way in my career, they hire us when they don't know how to do a legal issue or sort a legal issue. And for me, fitness-wise, I can work out. I know how to lift weights. I know how to use the cardio machines, but I don't know how to eat properly, and I don't know what it is actually eating properly means.
Yeah.
So I hire an expert.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, again, not to their, to their downfall, but like sometimes they think they can do everything themselves without help.
Men especially.
And men.
I may add, yeah.
And so
men are stubborn.
one of the key things is accepting when you can't do it yourself. And that humility is what allows you to open up to this world of possibility that you didn't know you had, because you had someone who have spent years studying this, perfecting it, to give you all the guidance they have, which you guys have done. And I couldn't have done this without you.
Yeah, amazing. So let's talk, because surely people listening, watching this will probably have questions in their head. And I know, mainly it's kind of for our clients, for a lot of our clients, just to kind of have a little bit of an insight into other clients' journey, see what the struggles were like, their successes, how they did certain things. So let's talk about the struggles. What do you feel were the biggest struggles on this journey for you?
I think,
and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, I think the initial struggle was that self-doubt of, can I, is this the program for me? Like, will it work? And my first couple of weeks, I think I went up in weight because before starting the program, I wasn't eating much. I was working out a lot, wasn't eating much, but it wasn't going down. And I was like, so surely that's like what you have to do. And what you guys did was like, let's do a reset on your body and then we'll break it down. So that was my initial thing of self-doubt. Like, will this work? Or am I just going to waste money again? Or like, I'm just going to waste time. So that was the initial issue, which after a couple of weeks and seeing the progress, like, fell away really quickly, right? It then became a case of, is this sustainable? Will I actually keep losing the weight? Or will I just stop? And then I'm back to ground zero, like, oh, well, it worked for 3 kilos. And then now I'm back to going up again.
Yeah.
So, which again, went away really quickly after it just kept going down. And then the nutrition wise, once I learned how to eat what I had to eat, it was easy. Like every morning I wake up, I take my 5 grams of creatine, go for a workout, have my protein shake, done. I'm fortunate enough that I used to fast a lot, so I'm not really hungry until about lunchtime, and I can work out on an empty stomach. So that's what I do. But even learning that you don't have to fast, that you can eat breakfast and still be sustainable, was one thing that I learned the most. And there are difficult days. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it still is a struggle when you have to wake up in the morning and go, I don't have time. I work till 3 a.m. I have to be in the office by 9. Somehow I have to fit my workout in, plus my extra cardio. It's not easy, don't get me wrong. But once I get down to the gym, I'm there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've already committed my day to it, and I'm going to commit in the gym right now, because there's no point going to the gym if I'm just going to do 20% of the work that I was supposed to do. So there are a lot of struggles, and initially with the nutrition, like my fiance, she she would say to me like, "Oh, come on, just pick a restaurant already because I'm hungry. I need to eat." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna look up their menu first."
Yeah.
You know, like there was a lot of that being like, I can't eat there. It's like there's nothing healthy, you know, and that was like tough at the beginning. But then seeing my results, my fiance actually also hired her own coach, and then she also had to track her macros, which worked out so well for me because every dinner we'd be like, "Cool, what should we get for dinner?"
Yeah.
Chicken's in the oven. Like we'll get the salads sorted, and it became a lot easier to do it with my partner.
Yeah.
Like to do this program with my partner because she supported me, I supported her. We'd go to the gym together in the morning. She'd do her workouts, I do mine. And then, you know, it's also the guidance and the advice of she's like, "I'm really hungry today." And I'll be like, "Well, what protein have you had?" And like, we learn from each other based on the guidance that you give me and the guidance her coach gives her. And so overcoming that problem of like, I'm going to be really boring for the next 6 months and not eat like out became a fun thing of like, we're doing it together. If we pick a restaurant, we're going to pick a really good restaurant with food that we can have and be like, you know, feel good about ourselves of eating.
Yeah.
So yeah, the biggest struggle would have been the biggest struggle if she didn't join me in this program.
Yes.
Because of the initial issues of like, come on, like let's just eat. And we love our good food. So overcoming that was helpful by having her join me with it.
That's a huge one. Thinking about it, I think it's probably, if I were to rate the biggest struggle on a journey like this, I think you just nailed it there. I think it is having a partner who is aligned with the goal, who really understands the motivation, your motivations behind wanting to achieve certain things, and being fully supportive. I think it's probably, you can overcome everything else. Like you said, you know, with your mindset, I do feel, and I have to be careful here, I do feel like you have a special mindset because not many people have that. And it's incredibly inspiring to listen to you and see how far you've come, and you know, despite all the challenges that you've been going through, work-wise especially, you know, professionally. But I think that partner situation at home, because that's where you, outside of work, it's where you spend the most time.
Yeah.
That's where you cook, prep,
Yeah.
you have the time to think, plan, etc. And if you don't have that, support from your partner, I think it becomes extremely difficult. And that's also why I always ask clients before I take them on, what is the support network like at home? Is your wife, your husband, your partner, whatever, on board with everything that you are trying to achieve? Because it really takes more than just one person if you're in a relationship. Yeah, great. So, you know, it seems like, you know, your work is again, hours can be absolutely crazy. Normally, we would say, look, if you've only had, let's say, 4 hours of sleep, skip that workout. You can do it on a different day. Prioritize sleep, prioritize recovery, etc., etc. Like, what was that mindset like in your case? No, I'm still going to do it. Did it help you? How did you find your energy levels at work? What was that like?
So I think the being flexible was really helpful, right? Where you said you can swap off your workout to another day. And there were weekends where I was like, okay, I'm not here from Friday to Sunday, so let me push everything to early my week. And just last week, I had to fly at 9 a.m, so I had to be at the airport by 7. And I was like, there's no gym where I'm going. I have one workout to go. So the night before, I was like, sweet, alarm at 5 o'clock. You know, get my workout done 5 to 6:30 in the airport by 7 o'clock. And in my head, that's just how I had to do it. Because I didn't want to finish this program and be like, oh, damn, I could have just pushed a little bit more, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to give it my all.
I love that.
And there were days where, like, I couldn't, right? Where I physically couldn't. I was like, I'm on the cross trainer for an hour, and I'm like, I'm still 100 calories short, but, like, to be honest, like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And I give myself that break when I'm like, okay, I'll make it back tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, but in my head, it's always like a zero-sum game of, here's how much you have to do. If you don't hit it all, then you didn't tell yourself that you used every ounce of your energy to achieve your goal.
This is so powerful and so important. And I love that you brought that up, because we always say to clients, if they're not aligned with the expectations, or this, that, and the other, listen, the data doesn't lie. We can see what you've done and what you haven't done.
Yeah.
And when you come back and say, well, I haven't lost weight as much as I would love to, or as much as I expected, it's like, well, have you gone to bed every single night of this week? Put your head to I always use this, put your head to your pillow, and with the hand on your heart said, I have done 100% of my ability with everything that I needed to do, ticking all the boxes. And that doesn't mean, like you said, if you've made it to the gym and you feel like, do you know what, this is all I can give, and that's my 100%, that's all we need.
Yeah.
But I don't think people fully understand what it really means. They feel like, oh, I've ticked the box. I sort of do it like half-assed effort. And like, I hate that.
What's the point?
It's so refreshing hearing you say that, because it's extremely important on these sort of journeys, because listen, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
That's how I believe. And it's a massive testament to your results in such a short space of time. 30 pounds in 4.5 months, because again, amongst so many distractions, work, etc., what you've achieved is incredible. So brilliant. So to flip the coin, what's been the biggest highlight, would you say, or highlights?
I think it's my newfound body and my newfound confidence that I didn't know I have, right? Like, I always went on holidays with my friends where they take their tops off, and I'm like, I wish I could be that confident to just take my top off as soon as the sun hits. Like, I'd always be the one there, like, I'll wear a vest or something.
Yeah.
I'll cover up as much as I can. Or I'm only going to take my top off once I run into the water, But I had good shoulders, and my chest looked massive. So I was like, I can hide under the water.
Yeah.
But this bit down here, you don't want to see it. So the biggest change has been, first of all, my looks, like my physique, which I am incredibly proud of, and I would love to keep building on after this. And the second is my mindset on the education of nutrition. It's now a thing where, after this program, where I'm just going to still eat my high protein meals, I'm going to focus on the protein. I'm going to lessen the fat. I'm going to know which alcohol is probably if I'm going to have a couple of drinks, what do I pick?
Yeah.
Do I pick the high calorie IPA or a nice gin and diet tonic, which will get you the same place? Yeah. So it's really, for me, the biggest success has been the change in my personal physique and the knowledge that I've picked up this whole journey.
Yeah, incredible. And so your wedding is in how long?
In 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
We obviously continue, we still have plenty of time on the program. Have you picked your suit?
I picked my suit, but haven't got it tailored yet.
Okay,
so
we still have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You've got this sort of period. So we have a photo shoot on Friday. So today is Monday. This week on Friday we are doing a photo shoot. So we essentially are shooting 6 weeks ahead of the scheduled time, simply because you've got plenty of things going on. You've got stag do's, weddings, and it's wedding season. So no doubt you'll be busy. How are you feeling about the photo shoot?
I'm quite excited, to be honest.
Yeah.
During this program, I felt stronger. Back in the day, I could do a pull-up. I could do 10 pull-ups, easy. But I never felt as easy as I do now, right?
Okay.
Where I remember telling Jason, can I add some weight to my pull-ups? Because, I kind of I feel like that 10 is okay, right? Taking the photos this morning after the workout and saying to you, and looking at myself, being like, I can't see my back when I'm working out. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, wow, I can see the change in my back as well. I can always see my front, but not my back. So, I'm looking forward to having a souvenir of how hard I worked.
I love that, yeah.
Which I can hang on my wall being like, you smashed it, bro. This is what you can do when you smash it. And if there's anything I've learned in this whole process is that my body can change in 3 months more than you think it can.
Yeah.
I've never been this fit ever, and I started showing about 3 months in, right? Like, and I thought, if that's what's happening in 3 months' time, that's crazy. When I never thought you could even lose like 5, 6, 7 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's the knowledge as well in my head of like, next year, if I go, okay, cool, it's about to be summer again, I want to be fit for summer, easy 3 months. Like, I know what to do. And that's knowledge of every year I can keep building to just have a better life prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say it is sustainable for you moving forward to maintain this physique, progress, build upon, and stay in shape for as long as you want?
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts from before doing this program where I was already working out a lot and I was already eating healthy a lot.
Yeah.
It's no reason for me now to not do that because I'm on this level, right? Like, maybe I've gotten a bit too skinny, but like maybe it's time to build up a bit. But I'm building up with the right nutrients than the fats.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, key for me. And again, the knowledge of if I do go too far up, I know how to bring it back down.
Yeah, yeah. So you understand your set point and you know how to navigate from there. Great. I always ask this question. So if there is somebody out there that is potentially thinking of participating in this program, but they're not sure, they have all those preconceived ideas about themselves, you know, is it my genetics, is it my, I don't know, is it my body, is it my ethnicity, is it like, you know, all those things. What would you say to somebody like that?
Trust the process. It's literally my mantra for the entire time I've been with you guys.
Amazing.
Because every time I question it, I saw the results and the data doesn't lie. So just trust the process, bet on yourself. The more you give your whole being to something, the more you get out of it. And if you do something half-heartedly, then you won't get the results that you think you could have got. So I always like tell everyone that when you give your 100%, it's the only time you can actually give yourself the opportunity to getting 100% back.
Yeah.
And that's how I would say, yeah, definitely like trust the process and give it your all.
That's really powerful because I do feel that there are a lot of people who are not giving it 100%. They think, or they may want to think that they are giving 100%, but there is always more that you can do. So how did you, you know, did you have moments where you felt like, I can give it a little bit more?
Yeah. I think those people justify to themselves that they think, oh, this is my peak. I'm done with that. I look okay. Right? Whereas like for me, the biggest example is like picking the weights every week. Say 1 week you go use your dumbbell press, so your dumbbell curls with like 12 kilo weights, and you finish it going, that was all right. Like, you know, I actually don't feel like I actually worked out that much with that one set. So push yourself to go 14 next time. And then by the end of it, like, oh, I'm now on 16. So like, you know, it's those little things that in your head, you could easily say, it was fine last time, I'll just keep doing it again. But that's how you plateau. That's how you don't grow. And same with your mindset. If you do something over and over again, just accepting to yourself that this is where you can go, you'll never go anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's pushing yourself every time you have the opportunity to push yourself. Pushing 1% is still better than not pushing yourself at all. It's marginal gains. And you, again, it go back to people want to get 100% without knowing that every step is a 1%er. So it's, I always say that, you know, push yourself to the extent you can every single time, because that extra step is what gets you to the next biggest step.
Yeah.
And without doing that, you'll be stuck in plateau forever.
Yeah. I think you're completely right. I think it's understanding that this journey is about accumulating small wins on daily basis. It's not about, you know, massive leaps and massive gains, because it doesn't work like that. It's about accumulating small marginal gains every single day over a course of, you know, 6, 12, whatever month, however many months that is. And that's when you start seeing. So for you, it was after 3 months that you kind of realized. So tell me about that moment.
So
when did you saw the
Yeah.
changes?
So I think the first few weeks, I was taking photos every week, of course, and
Yeah.
uploading it. And I'd compare it straight away with the week before in the beginning and go, oh, wow, there's a change. So even the first month or two, I'm thinking, I've already changed. Not knowing, of course, what I would be looking like.
Yeah.
But I was already happy with it, right? I was like, oh, wow. Like, I remember it was Easter. So it was like a month after we've done our start. We were at my fiance's family home with her parents, and they noticed straight away. They're like, oh, wow, like you've already changed from Christmas.
Did they know that you started the
Yeah,
program?
they knew I was in my program, but they didn't know the extent of it.
Yeah.
And they already noticed that difference. And I was so proud of like, yeah, like look how I kept showing people my half naked photos. We're like, look how much I've changed.
Yeah.
So those small marginal changes like gave me more motivation to
Yeah.
like keep pushing. And I don't think I just woke up one day with abs, but it kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it kind of felt like just all of a sudden I looked in the mirror, I was like, is that me? Like, you know, and about the third month where, you know, the weight was constantly going down, my body fat was constantly going down. I was feeling stronger. I felt I had so much more energy.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me be able to do my job as well as working out and do the program, right? It's when I took my top off and I was like, it's working. Like, and seeing the progress photos every week just get better and better. That's when I was like, okay, I'm on something good here. And I just keep pushing and keep grinding. And I remember there's one time when after one of my photos, you both said like, you look great. Like you're doing really well. And I said, I'm not done yet. Like, you know, this is nothing yet. Like I know I can keep going here. And again, for me, it's more I'm a lot in my head of like, well, imagine how good you can look in a month's time.
Yeah.
And that was always my goal. So I always had my focus on my calendar of like, where are my social events? Where are the times where I can't be as honest and truthful to myself as the other weeks? And that's when I like manage it. So I like make sure I manage every time. So I think of it as a hurdle that I can jump over. And once I jump over that, all right, I've got a week of clean eating, you know? And so I compartmentalize myself in that way.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I know this is where I want to get to. Here are my little hurdles I have to jump over throughout this process, which I can't avoid because it's part of life. But there are ways to navigate around it. And I think that's when I realized like, this is how I can do this.
Yeah.
Like I've got a wedding next weekend. Sweet. I'm going to make sure I do everything I can just before that wedding to still have a good time and not be that loser who's not eating.
Yeah.
Right. Like not having a drink.
Yeah.
But still come off it and be like, I still did well.
Yeah.
And I've never, ever been on holiday where I've come off the holiday losing weight. And like, you know, I was in Greece for a week and I came back, I was like, I dropped weight.
Yeah. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, again, just focusing on trusting the process, doing your workouts and eating, picking the right things.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it was like, it's been a great journey. And from the beginning where I've started noticing a difference to like really seeing the progress, it's just been constantly, you know, making me like even more grateful that I've done it.
Awesome. Now, just wanted to touch on this. So would you say that it helped you be more productive at work? And look, I know that your mindset is super strong and your work ethic is incredible. Obviously, law being super tough profession, would you say that that discipline that you've applied into your nutrition, your lifestyle, did that translate into better results, more productivity at work, etc.?
It's definitely, you know, having that mindset of I need to get my stuff done outside of work to power myself through work was a big thing, where you get your energy from working out, right? Like once you finish your workout, you feel great.
Yeah.
And you go to work and you think in your head, I've already smashed it this morning. I'm now going to smash my day. And so it just helped make sure that I was on the right track every single day by starting my day not thinking about work, but thinking about my personal life and how I can get it better.
Fantastic.
And that gave me the energy to smash my work day.
Yeah.
And then do it again.
Amazing. That's such a great way of thinking about it. It's like your morning is for you getting yourself to a level and a standard that it will allow you to perform at your best professionally at work, etc. Amazing. anything that you would want to add, say?
I just thank you to you guys. I think it was really important for me to know that there is a process and there will be guidance.
Yeah.
And you guys will be there to respond to my messages if I have questions. And every week tell me how I could do better or how I could change some things and just keep me accountable, right? Like, I think that's a big thing for me. Like, when I think I can get away with stuff, I try to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But having you guys there to be like, oh, we've seen that, like hold off on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, okay, yeah, all right. Like, I remember the first time, probably the second weekend, and I had went out for lunch and dinner, and then there's a lot of fats on my book. And I think I got a message being like, that's an hour of cardio in the weekend. I was like, don't worry, I'll hit my cardio. Yeah. And that kind of thing just kind of whips you into shape and keeps yourself accountable. And you know, and again, if you don't give it your all, you're not going to get the results as you wanted.
Absolutely. Well, JJ, so far it's been absolutely amazing, and it's been an absolute pleasure listening to you today. Just really inspiring, understanding your mindset, your approach. I think and hope that it will give whoever is listening to this, it's going to give them a bit of a kind of inspiration. That's kind of what I hope for, because there's plenty that people can pick and choose from this to better themselves and their life and their fitness journeys, etc.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you.
Till Friday.
Yeah.
Awesome.